You know me, man. I don't really leave the house anymore.
Oh yeah, no, I already know, but still, I gotta just put it out there because I'll feel sick if I don't say that. You know.
So
Um,
we're doing the thing though. We're staying safe. We're masking up when we do go outside. Mostly just still kind of just doing the shelter in place kind of thing. But that might just be because we smoke too much weed over at this house, so everybody really don't want to be out there anyway. So
understandable,
it's
understandable.
all working out in the end. But yeah, we're being safe. I hope you're doing the same.
Yeah, man, I'm somewhere in between happy, crazy, inspired, depressed, angry, can't wait, all those emotions. It's amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You know?
It's a good time to be creating stuff right now. There's a lot of emotions and a lot of uncertainty, and myself, I kind of thrive in that weather. I feel like you probably have a little bit of that in you too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I keep saying, I've been saying it all week. I'm that strange man who likes to work harder than smarter. Like I feel better when I'm in the trenches. Like I don't care how much I've made or that. Like I need to be in the dirt to really
head
like, I got it.
head down, moving forward, right?
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's get into it. Dad talk, my brother.
All right, bro.
Um, for anybody that's looking and want to know, this is my good buddy NickY Nothing from the band called Nothing,
What's
from
up?
Philly. Amazing man, amazing story, amazing music, amazing producer, amazing guitarist. Um,
Well, I wouldn't go
that
that far.
hey, I, to a guy like me, let me say that
Yeah,
much. To a guy in the
I'm like,
crowd, I'm like that guy up there is killing it. You know what I'm saying?
my man.
So dad talk. Three questions, my brother. We alternate. Three from me, three from you. Start off with me, or whatever, then we alternate.
All right.
All right. So, first question. It's a two-part question, and I always ask it to all my guests to start it off.
All right.
So, the questions are: do you love what you do, and do you think that you deserve the success that you have so far?
Well, that's a tough question, right, to jump in, man. Uh, I absolutely love what I do. I can't imagine or even begin to fathom where I would be personally if I didn't have this project kind of guiding me along the right path. Uh, this kind of, I'm not a religious guy or anything like that, and this has been my kind of therapeutic way of uh, getting out of bed every day
Right.
for the past 10 years. Everyone deals with their own struggle and strife, but you know this music thing really changed uh, a lot for me, and it pulled me from the trenches. So I absolutely love what I do. There's, as you know, there's a lot of things involved with this industry that can really have you feeling jaded and a little bit resentful of what we do.
Amen.
I mean, you probably know more than me. I've watched you, just flourishing for years now. Um, and you've been bit by the snake a couple times too, and it's not an easy job what we do, and I love, like you calling it entertainment, because that's essentially what it all is. It's art and it's entertainment, and uh pleasing people for a living is not an easy thing, man, because people do not want to be pleased a lot of the time. So it's a double-edged sword, but I absolutely love what I do when I get to go to a studio and record music and involve whatever I'm dealing with into something and kind of project it somewhere else. It's the most therapeutic thing I could ever ask for, and it's the only reason I'm here today. That's it basically.
No,
Part
no.
two.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, brother.
What was part two of that question?
Part two is do you think you deserve the success that you have so far?
Oh, now see, without sounding like too much of a martyr, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. I absolutely do not believe that I deserve uh, the success that we've had, even though it's not. Our success rate isn't like that. But I feel. I'll just say I feel very. I don't like saying blessed too much, but I do feel blessed to be in the situation that I'm in right now, where I'm able to play music and write music and use it as a means of survival, even though that's not quite the case right at this point in time with all this stuff going on. But you feel what I'm
No,
saying.
no, 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 no. I totally understand where you're coming from. That question, I ask it because it's so different. Like I've done 15 of this now. You're my episode 15. And um it really, really gets your mind going because you think so much for others.
Yeah,
Even if you think that you're a mean person or if you think that you're like a dick or whatever, it's like when that question gets asked, like it's almost you know what I'm saying? Like you know how to answer it, but you still think about how to answer it because it's something about celebrating your own success that comes with a inner stab to your own conscience. It's a weird science. It's a
yeah,
very weird science.
absolutely, absolutely.
No, for sure. Um, you know, uh, I love to hear that. First of all, I love that. I knew that you're happy to be. I know how much music means to you. Let me say that first,
Yeah,
because as far as not being a religious person, I understand where you come from on that aspect because I grew up very religious myself, and then I got to a point where I was like, yeah, I'm my own religion now.
yeah,
I have to be because I'm just really not good at getting told what to do on any form or fashion. Like no way. This is not even a police thing. Like this is on no time in my life was I ever good at getting told what to do. I've
yeah. Me
always
and
failed. I've always failed. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
I don't I'm not even bragging when I say that. It's just it's been my good bad luck,
yeah,
you know, and I live with that. That's fine. I take it.
yeah. That's good. I mean, I at the end of the day, man, for me, it's anything that gets anyone through the day and makes them end up in a place where they love themselves.
That's God.
It could be whatever it is. I don't care. If you end up at the end of the day loving yourself and loving everyone around you and not hurting anyone around you, then whatever that is, by all
Yeah.
means, just
No,
do it.
no,
You
no.
know?
Trust me, because you got to understand it's people who find happiness without understanding who God is.
Yeah,
So why would I
yeah,
sacrifice my
absolutely.
happiness to change my perspective of somebody else? Use somebody else's formula. It's just, it doesn't do it for me. And no diss to anybody that
Nah,
it's
yeah, no,
there's not a diss. You know what I'm saying? Like
no.
this is just this is a place, like I always say, a safe space for creatives to, you know, tell your truth.
I watched almost the whole episode with you and Big Frida. I'm a big fan, so I enjoyed watching that.
Oh man, that was spiritual.
Yeah, spiritual. That's the best word that I could have hear for it.
Like that made my day. Like my whole day
Me
prior to
too,
that
man.
interview
Me
was
too.
horrible. I was pretty much depressed the whole day. The whole day. And then I did that and I was like, oh, okay. Let me order a nice dinner and watch Sopranos. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
what's up. I just finished it for the second time the other day too.
No way.
It's different watching it. I watched it the first time around, but it's different watching it this time around. Now that he's passed on, it really made me sad, man. Like
This is my first time. So like I'm like,
I'm not spoiler alert or nothing
yeah.
like that, but he passed in real life, so it just I felt like we lost someone special with that. Anyway, I won't get into that.
No, 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 no. What you call it?
That's the Sicilian talking.
Yeah, no, I mean it's beautiful. Like I'm getting a little bit too deep. I feel like I'm in the mob now, or whatever. Like I'm trying to I'm trying to be a made man. Like I'm like I feel like I'm trying to be a made man. Like I just
That's
finished
funny.
season 2.
Oh man, you got it.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna get into it.
Oh yeah, when Christopher got the nod from Tony, like I'm about to put your name for so he could be a made man, I almost cried.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel no type of way when he killed Pussy, when they had to kill Pussy. I was just, I didn't shed. I was like, am I getting sadistic? Like, what's wrong with me?
Yeah, man.
Like,
I got a lot to say, but I'm keeping it. I'm not going there till you finish.
No, definitely. We'll have that talk.
Sopranos when you get finished that.
No, for sure. Question on you, my brother.
I'm sorry?
Question on you.
Oh, all right. Shit. You know, it's funny. I wrote all these questions down just so I could kind of go back to my notes, but they're on my phone and I can't even turn them off. So I'm just going to have to shoot from the hip a little bit.
All right. Come on. Whatever. Ask however you feel.
Well, I guess, you know, I texted you earlier just to make sure I had the pass, but, you know, this is dad talk, right? I had a real interesting father. I mean, I guess a lot of people probably said that. You know, my old man wasn't around a lot of the time, and when he was kind of one of those guys that nobody really did want him around when he was.
Right.
But you know, he had good aspects too. You know, he was a real fly dude. Like he you know, he went through 2 tours of Vietnam. He's passed now. He died in a freak accident a few years ago, but
sorry.
You know, oh yeah, I appreciate that. But yeah, you know, he had 2 tours in Vietnam, and you know, they have all this PTSD stuff that's starting to come around now, and you don't know what he was dealing with. You know, he came from an abusive father, he had substance abuse problems, you know, you name it. But you know, he also was an inspirational character to have in my life, you know, especially looking back on him and the stories that I hear from you know, different people and stuff, you know.
Right.
The man was in an all-black union in North Philly. Like, my mom used to get taken out to nightclubs with him, you know, like drove around a giant red Lincoln with white interior, like, you know, stayed in a suit with gaiters, iced out. Like, you know, you could see some certain points where I come through in this. But,
right. Now,
you know, come around the
evolution
corner,
of fashion from when I met you guys.
corner, just listening to stylistics and delphonics, you know, just pulling up, big body. But you know, I've read a lot of interviews with you and watched, like, you know, watched radio shows that you were on. I don't hear you really talk about it much, and I was kind of curious, like, you know, with your father being this dad talk, what kind of things did you pull from your old man?
That's a great question. Man, that's a great question. So, growing up, so my pops he was born in Tobago. So Trinidad and Tobago, they're one, but it's 2 separate islands.
Yeah.
And so my mother's born in Trinidad and my father's born in Tobago. And you know, my father, I mean, he was like a man's man. You know what I'm saying? He was a police officer in the military. He was a gun guy when he got out. Then when he left that alone, he got heavily into racing cars and then fixing and painting, restoring old schools. That's what he did.
Very, very masculine. Man.
Oh man, I mean, you know, like spit acid. You know what I'm saying? Like that type of masculine.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he had numerous kids. You know what I'm saying? He did all that type of stuff or whatever. And so growing up, we never really got a chance to connect. And you know, I lived in a lot of different places. My pops, he left Trinidad. And he left me and my mom there first, and he came to America. He came to America, got himself kind of together on his feet, and then he sent for us to come. Before coming, we lived in Canada. Me and my mom lived in Canada for a little bit, and we moved back to Trinidad. Then we came to New York. Then we lived in Florida. Then we lived in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? We moved
True
around.
life of an immigrant then. You were everywhere.
Pretty much, right? And so when we moved to South Carolina after Atlanta, this was the ending of middle school, coming into high school for me. My parents split. And at that time, I had a feeling in me that I was like, man, I got to stay with my pops, because I never got to really grow up with him. I've been growing up with my mom the whole time. You know, I'm like 14 years old, 15 years old, something like that. And I think 14. And, you know, I just never grew up with the guy or whatever. So I'm like, man, I'm going to stay with my pops. And my mom respected that decision. And, man, those years were horrible. You know, like it went from, yeah, I'm staying with my dad, to I think the end of 11th grade, before I left South Carolina for good. It ended with me and him in the middle of a dirt road, with him with a baseball bat in his hand and me with a brick in my hand, or whatever, like that type of fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then that was it. Like I was done, or whatever, because no matter, it's just I couldn't impress him.
Yeah.
I just couldn't impress him. You know what I'm saying? I just couldn't impress him. He didn't understand why I like clothes, why I like shoes, why I didn't care for what he did. You know what I'm saying? I was no good around the shop. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't my thing. You know what I'm saying? And so that kind of like, when I left then and went back to live with my mom in my senior year of high school, you know, we'll talk, hit him up from time to time, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, hey man, you throw me some money, boom, 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 or whatever. You know what I'm saying? On that type of relationship. So that just gets it worse. That just makes it worse.
Yeah.
It just makes it worse, really. You know what I'm saying? Because like I'm only hitting you up when I need something.
Yeah.
Or whatever. And my pops is a straight shooter, or whatever. Like after a while, you know, he started calling me out on my bullshit, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, I got offended. You know, so I got offended when I graduated high school, and I think I was in like my 19 or 20, something like that. Now, I didn't graduate at that time, but like those years after high school, when I'd hit him up when I was like 19 or 20, like, you know, to help me out with certain things. He just kind of like just started like curving me or whatever, you know what I'm saying, and treating me like how we would treat somebody who you don't want to talk to or whatever, you know what I'm saying. And so I think the last time he did it, I was like, I'm done with this guy. Like, I'm done. I'm not dealing with him no more. And that was one of the best decisions I made, because I cut him off in my mind. Like, I cut him off. I said, forget it. I'm done. I don't have a father. And I just figured out everything on my own. And that was important for me, because I'd never challenged myself to figure out everything on my own. And from that time on, I say 2020, or like the end of 20, 21, 22, 23, that I was just on my own figuring it out or whatever, because I had got into it with my mom. So I had been left. I can't, like I said earlier, I can't be told what to do. It's just, I don't care if you made me, you didn't make me. You can't tell me what to do if that's not what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? It's a shame, but it's the truth. So basically, the kicker in it, and the most beautiful ending of this, is turning 24 is the same year that I heavily got into music. I went to jail, got out of jail. I was like, all right, man, I got to really focus on this music, because what I'm doing at the time, I'm just making enough bread to buy more gear and pay my mom's bills. I have to have more in life than that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta be, I know that it's something more to me than just buying more gear and taking care of my mother. You know what I'm saying? And so then I got heavily into my music. And around that same time, my pops had caught a stroke or whatever, because he's just a workaholic. You know what I'm saying? That's his positive trait or whatever. Like that work, like that smile through the pain, the bullshit or whatever. That's the hardest working man I know. You know what I'm saying? That's where I get it from, where it's like, I don't care. I got the snake bites in my back still. I don't care. I got the arrows in my back from this industry.
I agree with you there. You are the hardest working man I know, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I got that from him, right? So, you know, by the time that happened, somebody hit me to let me know. I was like, I got to go see him. You know what I'm saying? Like I had grown a lot as a man, and I was like, I got to go see him. So I took a ride up to South Carolina, and I went to go see him. And by the time I got up there, he was back on his feet. You know what I'm saying? Trying not to show me that he was just had a stroke. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how hard work. That's how man. This is a man's man here, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I can't never be my pops.
Yeah.
I can't. You know what I'm saying? It's just I can't. I just can't because even though he made me and we have the same blood, when you get your own fingerprint, that means that's your own path.
Yeah.
And you're gonna pull things from the people who made you, but you're not gonna be them.
No, you're not
You know what I'm saying? You can't focus on that.
In the history of anyone trying to force someone to be somebody else, it does not work out.
You can't do it, man. You know.
Can't do it. That's just out to anybody's fathers in here. Any fathers, man, let your kid be himself, man.
They're gonna do that anyway.
They're gonna do it anyway.
They're gonna do it anyway. Just give them pointers. Give them pointers. And the beautiful, to end it off or whatever, when I went up there to see him, he's back on his feet, and right around that same time, I had just got my first cover for my first project, Don't Be Safe, which All Go Everything was on. And when the guy sent it to me, I was like, oh man, I'm doing music and stuff now, man. Check out my cover or whatever. And I had like the first draft of my first music video, not All Go Everything, but another song.
I love that video.
Thank you, man. Thank you. And I showed it to him or whatever. And for the first time in 24 years, I finally impressed my pops.
Yeah, that's good, man.
You know what I'm saying? I finally impressed my pops. And then the most beautiful thing about it all is now even to this date, for the last 7-8 years, he's been my biggest inspiration, the most trusted person I could go to when it comes to music, because my pops played bass guitar his whole life, and he loved music.
I knew there was music in there anyway.
He played bass guitar his whole life, and he loved music, but he just never thought to give me a guitar. He always tried to give me a broom to sweep the shop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't do music when I was young. I didn't start doing music till I was in my 20s. When I popped off with my single, I had started doing music damn near the same year or like the year prior. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it's like music was a newer thing for me. I was in the fashion world. I was in the streets hustling. You know what I'm saying? Just focusing on paper routes. You know? Yeah. So it's a crazy story how we started. But to any father, like you said, to any fathers out here, man, however the relationship starts with your kids, that does not mean it has to end that way. You know what I'm saying? Because my pops is the shit.
That's the absolute truth right there. And I, if anything, out of this whole conversation, just some people hearing that is important enough. So we already did our job. So
I know, right? I know.
I'm out, man.
Oh man. Okay, question on me. And anything I ask, if it's too crazy, just say next question, because you know what I'm saying? Man. I never want to ever step on toes.
I'm wide.
Thank you, brother. You there? Okay, cool. I just making sure. All right.
Oh yeah, I'm good.
So
go ahead. I'm listening.
Dominic before prison is, and if I'm wrong, stop me, is angry, aggressive.
Absolutely.
That dark connotation that Philly has, Dominic before prison possessed that. He has that. He's a walk-in, don't fuck with me.
I think you're making me sound a little bit more threatening than I really actually was, but yeah, I was on some, I wasn't the one to be, I would take care of things if I had to in any way I could, for sure.
Right.
I had a little bit of an anger problem, a little bit of violence,
Right. So, I've heard you say that, prison is the thing that calmed you down and kind of got you turned to like shoegaze. The idea and just moving with just being calm, like losing that anger. It allowed you to find a stillness. Are we good there?
Yeah, to an
To an
extent.
extent. Yeah, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
to an extent.
yeah.
Now, you know, so now you being a completely different guy, you know what I'm saying, from your music to your mindset, you know what I'm saying, to just everything, you know, completely different space
Hmm.
to a certain extent than prior to prison. What is something that my question is, what is something that you have come across that someone can use to deal with anger, to help them deal with losing that anger outside of music? Is there anything that you feel that like, you know, this could have worked too, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I I I struggle with it to this day. You know, I've always had an anger issue, and whether that's hereditary or it's me, or if it's getting walloped around on the head too much, who knows? It's there though, and it's constantly been there since I can remember. You know, and prison, that, you know, it was 2 years that I spent locked up. That definitely helped me realize that I didn't want to be there. First off,
Correct.
that's the immediate. That was the immediate realization that I was like, this is not where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
And you know, like I said before, and you said, as well, as you know, like, you don't follow rules. You know, I always found myself being in places I wasn't supposed to be in my whole entire life. Then I ended up in that place, and that was the first time I was like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be.
Right.
I'm not supposed to be here, right?
Yeah, this is the
You
bar
know,
that I'm not trying to go to.
you know, and I was in and out a couple times, and like some minor shit, like in Philly, like CFCF, like in and out. Same place
Right.
Meek was.
Right.
You know, a few times here and there, and for different things. But like the real bid, with I had a 7 year sentence, uh, with a 2 year minimum. So when I went and seen parole, it was highly likely that I was going to, you know, catch another 18-month hit or something like that. You know, but you know, luckily, I stayed in there hustling. Like, I went in there, got my GED. You know,
Congrats.
like, did some college classes, got like bullshit that I knew I would never fuck with when I got on the streets. Like, got a backhoe, a forklift license, like backhoe, and like excavating, like fucking shit. Like, I did anything you could possibly do in there. So when I went in front of these parole people, that I could be like, you know, I wasn't just sitting in here gambling. I was in there gambling, but that's a whole different story. But you know, they gave me my date, so I came home in 2 years. You know,
Right.
uh, and when I came home, it happened real fast. I forgot what I'd been thinking in there the whole time. So the first 2 years I was home, I was wilding still. You know, like, I immediately started selling coke again, like, because I couldn't get a job for 3 months. You know, like, so I finally got a job as a short order cook. I started selling coke again, and then, you know, next thing I knew, I had a gun in the closet, like bullshit. You know,
Yeah.
and I'm
It's a
at one.
cycle.
It literally was. It was like, you know, I'd have these realizations where I would be like, "What are you doing? Like, you can't be doing this. Like, you're going to be in the same situation again." But I didn't listen to myself a lot of the time. I don't know what it was. You know, I dealt with a couple deaths from some really good friends right when I came home. Two real close friends of mine died in like two random ass ways, and uh, I don't know what it was, but like something just clicked, and I decided, you know, that I needed to change for real. So it wasn't even really prison that did it, man. Like, prison was, I got projected out of prison. I was like a cannonball, man. Like, I was ready to go. It could have went. I could have went the right way or the wrong way. It could have been any way. It was. I came out of there so hot and so confused. I literally was a cannonball, just spinning. You know, like,
Right.
I could have been. I could have did anything. Who knows? But yeah, man. Like, something happened at one point. You know, I don't think it was necessarily prison. I think it was just I got to a point where I just realized where I was headed, and maybe the threat of going back there, because it was never about dying or anything. It was, prison is way scarier than dying for sure to me. Yeah, I think it was more along the lines of that though, you know.
Okay. No, I was just wondering because um, you know, I know a lot of people. I got people that's really close to me that's in prison right now, as we
Mm-hmm.
are, as me and you are talking as free men, and and then you know I got people that you know been in, been out, you know, been through a lot of different experiences, and some people that keep going back, you know, and some people they figure it out, you know, and when I like I said when I was doing my homework on yourself, you know, it felt that prison did play a part in keeping you still, like so you could realize certain things.
Yeah, I think that was the biggest part. I mean, I was like a fly in a jar, man. Just like boom, boom, both sides, you know, like off of everything like that. I needed to be put in a calm place so I can try to figure out myself and what what I was doing, you know, like it on a more than a philosophical level, just like in literal fact, like what are you doing? What's your plan here? You know, like
Right.
I had no plan. I was running on cause and reaction only. Everything I did was cause and reaction, which you already know.
That's no good.
That's not going to work out.
That's not gonna work.
You
No.
add that with a little bit of a high head temper, and you know, I'm never
Not.
coming home again. You know, so it definitely gave it straightened me out in a certain amount of way, but uh, I I will say that like, I don't know where I would have been if that didn't happen to me. If I didn't catch that case, I always say that I would probably be dead by now because
Right.
someone would have probably killed me by now,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know. But you know, I'm here, and I wouldn't say that system works by any means at all. It helped me guide me to a place where I could get my shit together for sure, though.
Yeah, no, and that's why that's my main reason why I asked it because obviously we don't want people to go to prison to deal with their anger. I was just
Yeah,
wondering that I was wondering was there any other main things outside? I know music definitely helped you a lot to give you something to focus on. So from me listening to you talk, it feels that like you just needed to find a true purpose. And once that happened, it gave you a reason to calm the fuck down, maybe.
maybe. I mean, I think I realized in there that we only got a little bit of time, and I don't know necessarily think that I have a purpose here, but like I know I only have a limited amount of time to do something, and why do it in such a pathetic, fucking miserable place as that place? You know what I mean? Why have somebody have their, you know, have their foot on your throat for while you're here? You're only here for a little bit. Do the things that make you happy, and you know, and be around the people that you love. That's what's important, and that's what I took out of it. You know what I mean?
No, no, I respect it. Question on you, brother.
My man. All right. Shit, man. Well, you said you landed in Atlanta at some point. I think I've read that you like middle schoolish, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I did elementary, middle school. I did elementary, middle school, and high school on
So
and off.
you're see, yeah, you know, I put you're in my top 10 Atlanta list all day, right?
Thank you, thank you.
You know, but what I wanted to bring up was like the striking similarities always between Atlanta music and Philadelphia music.
Hmm.
Now, I'm gonna be kind of hip hop biased right now because uh, there's yet to be a band from Philadelphia or a rock band or alt band that has made it in a sense that ever really told the kind of story that I needed to hear. You know,
Got it.
um, most of that I got from hip hop. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's just natural for me. There ain't nobody there that ever appealed to me. I love the sound of all that stuff, but it was missing the one thing. It was, you know, I grew up a certain way, and why weren't they talking about what I wanted to hear about? You know, why what
Right.
I'm dealing with. So, you know, I got attached to a lot of hip hop when I was a kid and stuff. And I always loved Philly hip hop, you know, like from the early days when, you know, early State Property and you know, Gilly and early Meek, you know, stuff like that. Even now too with like Tierra and all that stuff. It's great. But I
Oh
always
yeah.
seen a striking similarity between Atlanta and Philly as far as rap went, because you just seen this authenticity that like you can hear when when Jeezy and Ti are rapping, like you know what they're talking about, you know. And I always love that. And everybody in Philly always has such a love for Atlanta
Amen.
rap, you know.
Amen.
So, you know, um, do you, what do you what do, I guess the question would be like, you know, how did Atlanta inspire you, and when you got to that first record?
Um, it it definitely it molded my character. You see what I'm saying? It molded my character to be able to understand what what image really is. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I came in so image heavy from the
Mm-hmm.
beginning, because that's just who I was in the streets of Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? Like you, when you in the streets of Atlanta, you trying to be fresher than the dudes selling drugs, the dudes
That's
in the at the
that's so
college.
hard, man.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
That's a
so hard.
task. That's a whole task right there.
That's
You
a
know what I'm saying?
test.
You know,
Yeah.
so if you could have a unique look in the city of Atlanta, well then the rap game ain't shit. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And to go back to what you were saying, with being able to identify with Philly rappers, and it's just is some people identify with pain very well.
Hmm.
It's something about, I think I even heard you say it, where it's like, you know, it's either, you know, it's like life is nothing but pain and whatever discomfort that you use to inspire, that you can either use to inspire or people don't care nothing about because they usually don't care about nothing, right? Something like that.
Hmm.
Right. And
Yeah. I mean, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
yeah, you know, and you know, it's like people in places like Atlanta, you know, you hear about all the, you know, the flexing and this, that, or whatever. But, you know, it's real shit going on in the streets, and the artists that you love, you know, the Jeezys, the TIs, you know, that before their heyday, they definitely had to sack up CDs and sell $5 Nick bags.
Oh,
Those
I know.
$5 Nick bag days suck for everybody.
Yeah.
Trust me, I know.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, though, that sets character right there. If you can
CDs
make
out the
it through,
trunk.
no, no, go ahead, go ahead.
Everything.
Yeah,
CDs out the trunk.
exactly,
All that. Yeah.
exactly, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Driving to your show, performing, selling your CD, and selling weed on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is one of those type of things where, like, that type of struggle, if you know how to translate that to the music, like a Radiohead, like
Hmm.
a, you know what I'm saying? Like, I was just like, in 1995, like the intro or one of the songs from off of the Radiohead album is like, everybody's broken. Like, that's the lyrics in 1995. And
That's
that's
crazy, man.
the truth,
That's
bro.
crazy.
Everybody's broken,
That's crazy. That's a crazy lyric right there, man.
you know?
I love that.
Amazing lyric. Amazing lyric. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's resonated with me. Like, that's my favorite lyric of the day right now. Like, it's just in
Me
my
too.
heart, you know?
Me
And
too.
so, um, like, to, you know, like Outcasts, you know what I'm saying? Like, those, that was like, I'm a Libra. So balance means a lot to me. And
I
Outcast gave me that balance or
I
whatever.
knew
Like, 'cause,
you were a Libra, bro.
you know, like Big Boy, he gave you that hood. That, you know what I'm saying? But then Andre was Andre.
I always felt like you were the perfect balance in between Outcasts. If Outcasts ever had a baby, it would be Trinidad James, bro.
Descendants, you know,
That's
Descendants,
that's
like
how I always felt it too.
that's dad. You know what I'm saying? Those guys,
Yeah,
that's dad. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
That's what that whole title of dad is. Somebody is like a role model. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? That for a fatherless human. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? You need somebody that's like, oh, that's dad right there. That's going to steer you in the right place or give you something that you could learn from. You know what I'm saying? To actually help you. or whatever, you know, not the person that's teaching you how to, just dumb shit only. You know what I'm saying? Somebody where you actually use that you can help your family with. You know, so you give a man, they always say, I like a saying, somebody told me that you can give a man $1 million, cool. But if you teach him how to make $1 million, he'll never go broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, and the man that's down to be a true teacher in your life that's dad. You know, that's real. And so like those were the people that I grasped onto to answer your question. You know what I'm saying? Like Outkast, Dungeon Family, T.I., Jeezy. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Don't get me wrong, Lil Jon or whatever, you
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Young
All
Bloods. It was a lot of guys, you know, like Lil Jon went to college. He was a smart brother, you
man,
know what I'm saying?
smart as
Smart,
fuck, man.
you know, super smart. You know what I'm saying?
Smart as
Like
fuck. I
don't
think
get
he
it
actually
mistaken.
gave the. He's wearing a Dead Kennedys T-shirt in his high school uh, graduation yearbook
You
too.
know, that means
That
that he
motherfucker
loves
is
music.
smart as hell. Yeah,
That means he loves music. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. I got all love from like 98% of Atlanta rappers, man. I love what you guys do down there.
Man, thank you, man. Thank you. But yeah, you know, just having good OGs, man. Having good OGs who weren't truly like it's not like they knew me or anything, but as being a fan of music my entire life, because of my pops, who even though we didn't talk much, he will always play good music in the car.
Mhm.
Always play good music in the car. Guaranteed.
Mhm.
Always. And you know, it gave me a good taste palette. Like I truly believe that the reason why I always find a way to win is because my taste has always been up there or
Yeah.
whatever. Like I trust my taste, and Atlanta definitely helped with that. Of all the places I've lived and grew up, Atlanta definitely got my
Sounds
taste right.
good. Everything you're saying right now just is gonna line my last question up. But you go first, though.
All right, cool, cool. So uh, this question, I love this question because it's something that it always sits in my heart every time I go to a punk show. What would help get punk bands paid? Like, what's missing, or is that just the way it's supposed to be? Like, you guys deserve. I don't want to say you guys. The punk scene deserves way more money. Like in rap, obviously we make money at the buku. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? Like, but
you're
we
right
don't
on it.
do half as much work as you guys do.
Oh,
And
that's not true. I see the way that you move, man. Every dollar that you make, you earn, bro.
well, no. I'm
You.
talking about from the standpoint of having to set up band and
Oh yeah.
love. You
I
know what I'm
mean, yeah.
saying?
It ain't easy, man. I'll tell you that
That's
much.
hard work, man.
But that's like we're living in a world where it's there's there's more people that are into one thing than there is in the other, and when that happens, it's just there's going to be more money to keep it going.
Hey,
I,
man.
I you know we run on a pretty close to breaking even budget, and a lot of bands do. Everything is handled kind of internally. I've been the brains behind this project, and writing music with the help of plenty collaborators and stuff, but social media, merch design, merch selling, like it just doesn't end. Booking,
Yeah,
it's always on
it's
me.
a
I mean,
lot of work, man.
if I went through, and I know I got my fucking seductive lights on right now and shit, but like, bro, like I write everything down on paper, man. Like it's like shit is just like all over my fucking, but I enjoy doing it. And like I said, I might be borderline like institutionalized, but like it helps me. It's therapeutic for me to stay busy. So I'm lucky though. Like I'm one of the lucky ones that manages to make this work. Like I had a pretty decent job, like managing a bunch of bars and restaurants in Philly and stuff, and maybe I'll have to go back to it someday. But like I quit that because I seen a little bit of potential on the rise, and I just rolled the dice and just jumped into it. Took all the money I had and bought a van, a 15 passenger van, and uh and I quit, and we went on the road, and now 10 years later I'm sitting here, and this coronavirus shit's kind of fucking everything
Oh
up
yeah,
because
thank
we,
you for
we
saying.
make our money touring and selling merch. So that's why we would be out 6, 7 months out of the year, you know, like destroying all of our relationships at home, you know, like causing tyranny on the sorry about that. Sorry about that.
There you go.
Causing tyranny on all the people that love us, you know, like being out on the road because we need to make that money, you know,
Yeah.
and that's just the way it is. Now shit's real fucked up with this.
Oh man, trust me, I get it.
Everybody
Yeah,
in
like it,
all shapes and forms, all connected pieces are fucked up right now. So you know, that's just the way it is. You know, there's not really an answer for your question at this point. You know, it's like it, you got to really care about what you do. You know, and that's it.
right.
And I care about what I do because it's the reason that I'm here. So you know, that's it.
No. I definitely feel it. Like and one of my like bucket list personal goals is like to bring more money to punk. And the reason why is because now hip hop and my world, like alternative and punk influence, is like heavily making buku money.
Oh yeah, man.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
just
So it's like,
I just seen Machine Gun Kelly. I'm stepping off the camera, but I'm still talking. I'm trying to find a charger just in case
yeah,
my
go
shit
ahead.
died. Yo, I just seen that Machine Gun Kelly video. That shit is atrocious. No offense to Machine Gun Kelly. Not trying to get into
No.
that. I'm
Good.
just saying
Get your issue off.
it's just like you know it's just a it's just whack to me, man. Like people are just trying to make their money. I get it, but you know that shit is it's too it hits too close to home. You know, like I don't know.
No. I understand where you come from, and that's why, like I said, it's one of my personal. It's just it's a personal goal. If I accomplish it, I accomplish it. But I really want to bring more money to the scene because I mean, you know, you guys kill it. Turnstile is fucking incredible.
Yeah,
Like
great
they're
band.
fucking incredible. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's so many different bands I like. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel that like the I feel like rock and roll, they ate up money. But like I feel like the punk scene never got their chance to make no money.
Nah, definitely not. You're right about that.
You know what
No
I'm
one.
saying? So it's like if it needs I mean I feel like maybe it's something where it's like mixing up the lineup or whatever and getting, you know, the Denzel Currys and Horror, the band and like mixing up the
The
lineups. You know what I'm saying?
homies.
Like, you know, Playboy Cardi and nothing. You know, I'm just throwing out ideas. You know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, I
But
mean, you know, we've done this together a few years ago. You know, like we did the show with Body Count out in L.A. too. Ice T
yeah,
the
you know what I'm
fucking
saying?
guy. You know, there's people doing things. You know,
But we need more. In my personal opinion is I
I
think
agree.
we need more.
I
You know what I'm
agree.
saying?
You know, just as much as like I have a hard time believing in true cultural appropriation. To be honest, I'm not trying to get in a controversial shit, but like it would be nice to have more people involved in this stuff because it's you know rather than just like jump in and try to take something and bring it to somewhere else, jump in and be a part of it for a while and
Exactly.
understand exactly what it is. Like you know, like that's when cultural appropriation is bad. Like when someone is wearing a sombrero at a festival, like a white girl's wearing a sombrero at a festival, you know
Right.
what I mean? Like that's fucked up. Understand it and love the culture and then use it however you want to use it. You know what I mean? Don't just look it up on Wikipedia and then just try to run with it, you know? Or
Exactly. I really I try my best to stay away from guys who only wear class shirts. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, man. You see people selling punk leather jackets with like, you know, they're
that
buying them
says
for
punk on
fucking
the back.
$5 grand. You know what I mean? Like, the fuck out of here with that shit. You know.
Yeah, it's tough. But question on you, brother. Question on you. Last question on you.
Oh shit. All right. Well, keeping into the Atlanta shit. um, well, I'm sorry. Actually, let me rephrase that. Well, keeping into the Atlanta shit. you know, when it comes to style in Atlanta, the only two names I think about, you already know, it's Trinidad and Andre, right?
Right.
That to me, that's the epitome of Atlanta style when I
Okay.
think about it. So, um, you know, when I look at you and I think about you and your style and what you bring, like, you know, I know you bring your own thing, but like I think about great people in the past, you know, like Marvin Gaye and you know, James Brown, and I think about what you do now. But the difference, you hold the like your confidence level, like you have like the confidence level of like Thelonious and fucking Miles, like you carry that with ease, man. Like you float, you know, like and
Thank you.
I always appreciated that. Like you, since the first time we met when you came to our show in Atlanta, you had the Guilty of Everything T-shirt, the long sleeve I gave you, but you had it on backwards because you liked the way the words look up front. I was like, yo, this fool is wild, man. I was like, I love this dude right away when he said that. But basically, I don't mean to just keep talking about inspiration, but like, you know, I actually am
What's up,
very
kid?
curious, like what other artists out there or people anywhere like have inspired you as like the way that you take care of yourself as far as like styling yourself and stuff like that.
Um, a lot, man. I think that um every everything that I've been through from the age of 13 to 24, those are the years that basically locked in my formula for whatever I put on, I know how to make it mine. So it started from having nothing. And I didn't grow up with no money to be fly. So just,
Mm-hmm.
being horrible, not being good, not being good, not being good. And then, just making horrible mistakes. And then kind of finding myself from the standpoint of, uh, trying out Converse and then trying out basketball jerseys and then,
Yeah,
going through Levi, big 501 Levi's, tall white tees, white Air Force Ones, then getting into brands like LRG and trying out like different pieces, like actual outfits.
yeah, we all been there, man.
Yeah, everything, retro, having the thrift store days when I was heavily into um, the thrift store and heavily into like finding things that define me in the thrift or whatever, not just going for the typical or whatever. I don't know what that is. It just made me like, also my friends around me, the guys who I grew up with, uh, they were stylish people too. So it's like
I
I'm in
believe
competition with them. So it's like, okay, I know how I think I know how they coming or whatever. I got to kind of beat them or whatever. And that kind of just continuously, for at least all my teenage years, it kind of just got me real left thinking all the time. Like, if everybody is baggy as dope and amazing, then I'm probably gonna go super skinny.
yeah.
And I've been a martyr for a long time. I've been really good. I've been the
Oh
sacrificial
man,
lamb for a long time.
I gotta say, man, you know, like I come from a place where uh doing things different and being involved with punk as a kid got me beat up, got me in fights, made me a lot of enemies, made me into the person I am today, which was probably a little bit more violent than I was supposed to be
Right,
because of shit like this. You know what I mean?
right.
But like what you do and the amount of ridicule that comes with hip hop, like man, I commend you. That's what I say. When you walk with the fucking confidence of a fucking what Jay say? I walk like a ball player. You know what I mean? Like that's you, man. That's you. And
Thank you, man.
straight up, man. Like you do your whole thing. I'm happy to be a friend of yours, man, for sure.
Likewise, my brother. What we go through on the daily, it will never be easy. It will never be. Not today, not
It's
tomorrow.
not supposed to be, right?
But yeah, it's just that's not the way. That's just not the way. You know what I'm saying? I need the wounds in my back. I need the bullets. I need the snake bites. I need it. You know what I'm saying? That's the only way that I'll be able to know how to hit back, how to strike back.
You're right, man.
If nobody never hits you, you don't know if you can take a punch.
You're right.
And then when you get to take a punch, and then somebody hits you, and then you're out cold forever, you die because your jaw never got formed right. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through these things, man. And everybody's not built to go through them. You know, it's just the truth. You know what I'm saying? That's why we have friends that commit suicide. We have friends that quit on themselves. You know what I'm saying? We have friends that, like, you know, they lie to get to the next day or whatever. You know, they do whatever it takes to not have to face reality.
That's
And
right.
it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to judge them because we came on this earth by ourselves and we will leave by ourselves. You know, so you got to be accountable for Dominic. I got to be accountable for me, you know?
And what a tall order that is.
Oh, exactly. Like it's a responsibility keeping up with ourselves. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it is what it is, you know? But my brother, I truly, truly, truly appreciate your time, man.
Oh, man.
You know, we're looking forward to whatever you got coming, you know, keep your sanity. And,
you got to scroll this camera down. I'm trying to see what's on the foot right now. I'm trying to catch you off guard.
oh, me? What's going to look?
Come on, man. Oh, look at these things. Yo, what? All right, hold on. I'm going to turn the light on for 1 second because, you know, I was in my zone real quick. Get my drink on. Hold on 1 second. I want to show you these things and see if you approve. Hold up.
Let me see. Put me on. Let me see the vibes. I love that sign by that flag back there.
You fuck with these, Johns? Look at that.
Oh, look at you.
Look at that.
Okay.
Yeah, these things, right?
I see you. I see you. All right, come on. Hey, man. I don't want no smoke, bro. I don't want no smoke.
I know. I learned from my old head, man.
Don't we all? Aren't we supposed to?
Yeah.
You know?
Hey, bro. I appreciate you. I love you, man. Be safe. Thank you for the time.
Hey, man. Be good, brother. Peace.
Everybody else, peace. Be good to your kids.